Didn't really like that. Can I have another go? I started playing the piano probably when I was 3.
I've been playing the guitar for about 6 years, maybe 7 years.
I have been playing the bass for 5 years.
I've been playing for about 11, 12 years. My musical education is approximately 3.5 years of percussion, various things from, you know, the snare drum to the bass drum to the xylophone, to the claves, to, you know, many a thing, you know, just being a percussionist, you know, in middle school. It was just a really great thing because, you know, before you get to that drum set, it's just really good to learn the instruments by themselves.
I never really took time to learn guitar notes and stuff like that, so.
I have a bass teacher who is also a jazz musician, and he kind of gives me little things to work on each week.
I picked up the guitar when I was in 8th grade and bought like the basic guitar books, like the first edition, like learning just the basic chords. After I learned the basic chords, I just kind of stopped and was just looking up tabs online and just playing with my friends and just playing by myself and just kind of figured out what I know so far by myself.
As a drummer, my purpose, my entire purpose, you know, my modus operandi is to keep the beat. That's what I do. You know, you have to keep the beat. Sometimes, you know, I'll mix it up, you know, when we're just like jamming and stuff, but I want to keep the beat. That's my job. And one problem that I have, you know, as a drummer is that you're always playing on somebody else's kit. And it's like until you just have your own set, your own, you know, body parts, and those nerves are just allowed to grow. And those nerves are just like work day in and day out. You're not going to be 100%.
I've taken lessons on classical piano for, must have been a dozen of years before I stopped taking lessons. And it is right at that time that, you know, I started composing and all that. And what really, really helped me ever since, actually, is music theory. I've been studying music theory for almost 3 years and helped with my improvising a lot and composing. I take it as a way of guiding my improvising, guiding my music.
Learning, just going back to the scales again and just intervals and sounds and transcribing is pretty much the most important part of musical education for me, because I've taken classes on theory and read things on theory, but it's just not gonna, theory isn't gonna make music.
I think not knowing theory is a disadvantage, but in a way I'm not like structured down to knowing like what I should be playing. So when I start making up stuff or like fiddling around with different solos or something, let's say, like I don't know what's supposed to be there. So I've kind of a freer range to just mess around and not worry about hitting the wrong scale or like the wrong note on that scale. I just kind of go with what sounds good to me. So in a way, I guess that's kind of an advantage. But when you're jamming with people and they're playing 10 different key changes in one song, I have to go from sound to change the key, like to hear what I'm playing to change the key. But playing with the certain people, like just watching people who know theory, playing with theory, like you start to wonder like how much better you'd be if you knew that, or like how much it would affect you if you knew that, or how it would change your style if you knew like theory compared to knowing nothing. Practice a bunch of different ways. Sometimes I'll just look up scales online and just practice doing that. A lot of times I put on my favorite band's DVD or CD and just jam along to that, or just look up tabs online and start playing songs. Other times I just sit here and just play my own stuff and just make up things, see what sounds good. If I like it, go through that, start making something.
To me, you have to enjoy the instrument. So I don't like the term practice because it seems like the connotation seems like, you know, it's mechanical and it's, you know, I'm drilling.
I practice by listening. I practice by being critical to myself when I make recordings. You know, I'm my own worst critic. You know, I just think I'm crap.
My approach to practicing would be about playing probably about an hour to an hour and a half of scales every day, just minor, major, all the modes, getting the different sounds in my head, because that's what you're manipulating to make all like the little sounds you're making when you improvise.
I can listen to music and play along. That happens sometimes. But most of the time I'm just playing along with melodies in my head. It can be a real song that I've heard somewhere before. It can be a kind of really old song that I've heard somewhere and it's just stuck in my head all of a sudden, and I would play it and see how that sounds.
A lot of it just can't be taught. Like, you really can't be taught like beats. It's just like people know when like a beat is just like fake and just, you know, played out. You know, that's why I try to listen to like just a lot of, you know, neo soul and stuff, because it's just all about, you know, improvisation, just being like the freshest out there, just like doing something and just like exciting people and awing them.
When I'm playing by myself, I really don't care how I sound, so I'll mess around with just stuff just to see how it comes out.
When I play alone and nobody's watching, sometimes I really get into the music and really feel it and just really don't know where I am in the moment. It's just lost in music.
The importance of scales for me is just knowing where your hands can go and knowing where the sound is going to go and knowing the intervals of the scale, because when you're trying to copy maybe a sound that you hear, you have to kind of know what interval it was and what kind of sound it is. Say, is it a minor sound or a major sound? It really helps you a lot. I guess as you progress further, you're supposed to forget about all the scales, is the point. But at least at my level, I would say that the scales are definitely still important to me in my playing. But hopefully, years down the road, I'll be able to forget them and just play totally freely, which is the goal of every musician, I would think.